Hi guys, it's Isa. I wanted to make a video of my outdoor rock garden before it gets so cold that everything goes dormant and ugly. So here you go. These are the autumn joy sedums. I planted those last fall and they've done awesome. They're kind of done blooming and they're just going to dry up. Here's my big praying mantis that's been living outside. He likes to hang out on the different plants and such, and on the siding. So down here we have the Sedum Angelina, which is kind of going into its dormancy stage. This is my favorite ground cover by far because it'll look pretty throughout the winter. Some of these sedums, as you can see, are not doing so well. They're already kind of going dormant. We had a lot of rain this year, and sedums do not enjoy that, or any succulents for that matter. Some of these Elijah bluegrasses that I planted those like early summer. They'll be looking really good next year. They're perennials, so they'll come back up. And here is my raised bed, my rockery, so to speak. So it hasn't fallen apart throughout the summer, so that's good news. We'll see how it does under the snow. So this is kind of the panoramic view of it, and if we zoom in here and kind of go over it step by step, if you guys watched my first video of the rock garden when I was still building it, there was an edelweiss planted right here. That died, so I might try again with it. In its place I put some sempervivum oddities, and maybe next year I'll look for another like thriller or focal point plant. You can see we already had a mild like frost that took out some of the annuals in the garden. As you can see, it has not affected the sempervivum. Those guys are tough. They will keep their shape throughout the winter pretty much. Some more sedums. Everything's growing really nicely in this rock garden. You can see things growing in the nooks and crannies of it. So I rather like the way it turned out. More sempervivums over here. Those are doing really well. Sedums. This big thing, I think it's called like the Rock and Grow sedum or something. It had gorgeous pink, hot pink blooms, and of course I did not film them, so here you go. Some people say you should leave these brown seed heads as decoration for winter interest because they look really pretty with the frost and snow on them. And here is the biggest success of the season, which is my cold hardy cactus, my Opuntia compressa. If you look at some of the other videos, you will see that this thing, when I bought it early in the spring this year, it was brown and shriveled, and it has since just gone nuts, producing paddle upon paddle upon paddle and upon paddle. And it's eventually probably going to take over this bed, and I totally do not mind. But I will not put it in other parts of my garden because it is just excessive. But it has probably quadrupled in size or more. There's one little paddle here that detached itself when I was originally planting it, and it has since let out a root and let out paddles of its own. So that's pretty cool. I really am not good at filming, so. And then here, some beautiful sedums. This is a pleasant surprise. I bought like this sedum carpet with some just different sedum cuttings just to plant up the bed, and they have spread out so nicely. So here you go, that's the raised bed. Here is the little fox from my friend Agata. There you go. He has not grown. So some more oddities with, look at all these pups on the oddities. That's just insane. So zooming out, we keep going. This is kind of the rest of this. So this part you guys have seen when I was building it. And then over here is the rest of the rock garden. So what I decided to do is incorporate other non-succulent plants with succulent plants. These are all kind of water-wise, which means they do not need a lot of water. I already mentioned the Elijah bluegrasses, which work really well with succulents. I think the biggest and nicest feature of this thing is rocks. And you can see that I got a lot of rocks from my friend. And the trick, and I saw this somewhere or read it somewhere, is to place them all kind of at the same angle. So if you keep going here with me, you can see that they're kind of all generally facing the same way, even though they are varied types of rocks. So just going back here, I have to put some gravel in my basement window wells to make it look all pretty. And then these three shrubs right here, the two lime green ones on the side are, I believe you want them as gold. And then in the middle is a Concord Barbary. They should keep their foliage throughout the winter. I don't know if the Barberry will, but this is a really beautiful shrub. It flowers yellow in the spring. And then the euonymus is an interesting thing. It's actually sort of a ground cover-ish type of shrub. So these things that are shooting straight up, they actually have little roots on them, and if I let them, like if I pointed them toward the ground, they would probably root and start taking over this bed. I'll try to zoom in on some of the little roots. Okay, not good at zooming in. Anyhow, I am not letting them crawl and take over this space, so right now they're pointing up, and in the spring I might trim them if I don't like what they're doing. And the last piece here, as we keep going, let's zoom in on some nice sedum. So again, Sedum Angelina, highly recommended, very resilient, very winter hardy, will keep its color and shape and looks great. More Elijah blue. You can see here my Portulaca. This actually grows as a weed on the side of the house here. It self-seeds every year. And I realized that, well, it's a succulent, so let it grow, and it has these beautiful flowers. And we already had our frost, so kind of on its way out, but great addition. I will not be ripping it out again. And most of this stuff came from a tiny little sedum carpet, except for the Sedum Angelina, which I bought a whole bunch of. And look how beautiful. Next year they will just be all over and just taking over the space. So this is kind of where the succulent part of things ends, and there's a spirea shrub and some alyssum, because that kind of leads into the other part of the garden, which is not a succulent garden. So that's kind of it, essentially. Just wanted to show you guys before this all kind of goes brown and disappears under a layer of snow. Look at that Sedum Autumn Joy. It's beautiful. There's a spot here where I'll be planting some ornamental cabbages today, and my hydrangea already, the frost got it. But so yeah, that's it. I'd like to finish by zooming in on some beautiful little surprising sedum flowers. These are like all surprises. They were out of that kind of sedum carpet. So have a great day, guys. Bye.